think you're just lying.
Yeah, I'm a big fat liar.
Can you do a clap for the camera?
You want me to do a clap?
Yeah.
Wait, that might not have been in frame. Will you hold the mic?
Perfect.
Beautiful.
All right, joining us today is Flaky Whitaker.
I'm not flaky.
No, okay. I'll give you credit. You've gotten better recently.
Thank you.
You've gotten a lot better. I don't know what switch flipped in you, but you have gotten better.
It's brain development.
Sure, let's go with that. That
I
way,
turned 19 and
Yeah.
yeah.
That way you don't have to accept any burden of responsibility. It's just natural
Exactly.
for growing older.
Exactly.
Okay, so describe the circumstances where we are.
The circumstances that brought me to New York,
Or even that.
or the location in which we're currently in, or a secret third thing.
Hold on, can you talk into your microphone?
Hello.
Okay, no, it's good.
Can they hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Let's start with the street corner. How about that?
This street corner?
Yes.
We are currently in Manhattan, New York,
Mhm.
in Seaport. We're right by the Wall Street Pier, Pier 11. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're right on the water. We're right at the border of the financial district.
Okay. Do you have any other fun factoids about where we are?
This
or
is
that all of them?
Behind us is the Seaport Museum, which is
Wow.
a museum of this area. Used to be like a historic, like shipping sailor
Mm-hmm.
spot, and all of the old buildings still exist, and they turned them into a museum. There's also a ship that
Do you
can
know what
go
the
on.
museum is?
It's
Is
called the Seaport Museum.
So it's for the fish stuff.
It's like it's just like historic.
Have you gone?
I went inside to pee once.
Did you have to pay to pee?
No. Free public restroom.
Whoa.
And the museum is pay what you can. And it's like this whole little block. It's like an open museum. But there's one part that you have to pay for, and it's to go on the boat. They have a boat that actually goes out on the water, which is pretty cool. But I haven't done that because it costs money.
Well, what are you? I mean, you have your nice little new paychecks you could be using for it.
This is true. This is true. But I'm not going to do that
instead
because
what?
the ferry is only $4.50, so I can still go on a boat, but for $5 instead of $30.
I guess.
Boom.
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 Because what's the point other than going on a boat?
There's no point. The ferry is my favorite part of the city.
So we're in the financial district.
Yeah.
This is going to come out months from now, realistically.
Okay.
So you're probably safe to say that you live like 4 blocks away.
I do. I live close. I live in the financial district in a very...
Are you fucking with the cliff?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
That's probably...
My fault.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
I'll stop doing that.
Yeah. I swear to God, everyone who... I don't know what it is about these microphones, but you give it to someone and they'll always fidget. I mean, myself included. Like, I'll hold it by here. But it's like,
I think that...
Then you just press on the little clip and it's not good.
That might have to do more with the people that you're interviewing
That's
than the
true.
mics themselves.
That
We're
is
all
very
unmedicated.
True. Yeah. But so you're here in New York.
Yeah.
For a part of a Vogue.
Yeah, I work for the Vogue College of Fashion for their summer program. It's been getting a lot of buzz on TikTok.
Oh.
Mixed reviews. I legally can't say anything about it for 2 years. That's negative. As part of
Really?
my contract, I can't deface the Vogue
I'm going to be
brand
neurotic and make
name.
sure that the cameras are recording, even though
Okay.
like I'm 99% sure they
Okay.
You can still talk.
Yeah. Vogue Summer College of Fashion. It's a 2-week intensive. This year it was on the Pace University campus.
You're not allowed to say anything bad about it for 2 years.
Nope, it's in my contract.
Okay, are you allowed to be around people who say bad things about it?
I mean,
Also, what happens if you do say something bad about it? Are they going to like...
that's a great question. I think I could get sued. But also...
Could you get sued for answering that question?
That's a great... I actually don't... They didn't make me sign an NDA.
Okay.
But also, all the kids who come to the program have been saying some things about it online, so it's like, that's not my problem.
That's not your problem.
But shout out Vogue, shout out Anna Wintour, shout out Condé Nast, shout out fast fashion, shout out capitalism.
Shout out capitalism.
Shout out.
Big shout out to capitalism.
Huge shout out. Capitalism is all around us right now in these buildings.
That's damn true.
Yeah.
We are in like the capitalism center.
Yeah, Wall Street is like literally.
Damn, that's true.
Like
and this
right
is
there.
the financial district.
Yeah.
Is there the bowl?
The bowl?
You know the giant bowl?
Yeah, we're close to the giant bowl.
I gotta go visit that afterwards.
Go see the giant bowl.
Yeah.
That's capitalism right there.
That is capitalism.
It's capitalism.
Okay, but so you're doing Vogue.
Vogue.
Now, Early Whitaker,
That's me.
are you... Sorry, I'm just laughing at how you've code switched now that the camera's on. Do you... That is... What industry is that in? We're saying it for the camera now, even though we had this conversation 15 minutes ago.
Well, Vogue is in the fashion industry.
It's in the fashion. Now, Early Whitaker, are you someone who wants to be in the fashion industry?
Not exactly. I mean, I don't dislike it, but that's not really my like
Cup of tea.
my end goal.
Mhm.
Also, having been here, it's not my wavelength.
But of course.
But
of course, zip mouths
shout out
for that.
Vogue.
But
Shout out
Vogue.
Anna, soon to be former editor-in-chief, Anna Wintour. We are close personal friends, her and I.
Getting fired?
No, she stepped down. She stepped down. But they haven't announced her replacement yet, so actually the reason that I can't say anything is because I will be replacing Anna.
Oh,
I am the new editor-in-chief of Vogue magazine. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've been, while here, this was very much a trial run of the city.
Yes.
Because New York is New York.
New York.
What's the Sinatra? New York, New York.
It's a heck of a town.
Is that what he says?
Yeah.
I don't know the song that well. But it's a heck of a town.
That's what they say in Madagascar when they sing that song. I actually have never heard the original song.
That's crazy.
Wait. I think I'm thinking of a different song
the
than you.
dun, 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 dun,
Start
dun.
spreading.
Yeah,
and you-
exactly.
Different song than what I was singing.
What were you thinking?
Wait. Maybe it is that song. I don't know.
Okay.
In Madagascar, they sing it in Penn Station.
So you spent a lot of time
Grand
here.
Central. Yeah.
Feeling what it's like living in New York. Because
Mhm.
when was the last time you were here?
Last year, but only for a few days.
Okay. When is the last time you were here for the longest time? If that makes sense.
This is my first time ever being in the city for longer than a week.
Right. And how is it so far?
I love it.
Okay.
Everyone likes to complain about New York in the summer and the heat and
Touch the gum.
ew, don't touch the gum.
Dude, I might
There's
touch you and give
no,
you cooties.
Do not. Do not. I ran out of vitamin C pills. You think I'm joking?
Okay, but so
but no.
New York.
Everyone complains about New York in the summer and the heat and the trash smell and the subway.
I was gonna
and
say
the
you're wearing
rats.
jeans, which
I
is
am wearing
kind of
jeans.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit my bare legs on the subway.
That's fair,
Honestly,
I guess.
none of those things have been bothering that much. Coming from Florida, the weather up here is still better than there.
True.
And yeah,
It's livable.
trash day is rough, but it's like, you know, everybody has trash.
Mm-hmm.
New York or not. And there's a lot more.
Part of the appeal.
Like, you know,
30-year-old women chasing each other.
and that's probably not even top 5 most interesting people I've seen on the street today.
Fair
So, shout out New York.
There was a guy I saw on the subway who, with his sunglasses on, looked like Bill Murray. The second he took them off, didn't look like Bill Murray.
Maybe it was Bill Murray and he's just had some facial reconstructive
That's
surgeries.
true. And also dyed his hair.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point.
Bill Murray's still alive, right?
Yes, Bill Murray is still alive.
Okay. I feel like I haven't seen him in anything in a minute.
He was in the third Ant-Man. Did you see that?
I have seen none of the 3 Ant-Mans. Oh, have you seen the new Superman movie yet?
I have.
What did you think about it? You have your own mic.
What did you
Tell
Early
us.
Whitaker. I thought it was good. I thought it made me... I had a hard time thinking about it as a singular entity, like as its own movie, and instead thinking about it in the context of, like, you know, multi-million, billion-dollar franchises, and, like, how is this going to work as its, like, building stone for, like, the future ones.
Yeah.
That being said, I still thought it was really good.
Okay. I've been hearing mixed reviews. I got a very strongly negative review of it this morning. A friend of mine who I work on films with said that it was a really fascist movie.
Interesting.
He said that there was a scene that was like a very thinly veiled parallel to the Gaza situation.
Oh, okay.
It was really terrible.
That it is great because it is so... Spoilers, but I doubt you give a shit.
I'm not going to watch this movie.
It's solid. It's like, if you're on a plane, put it on. If you're on a plane, fair enough. But, like...
Okay.
It's
plane
like,
movie. Heard.
If...
Maybe I'll watch it on the flight home.
It is so directly a one-to-one with Palestine in a way that is frankly shocking, because it's like,
right,
or it's like with like Israel and Iran a bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, of course, it was being made like months
before,
and months and months ago. So it like has this perfectly set up. It's actually crazy. I wouldn't say it was fascist.
I heard that it was very like
Is that
white saviorism, like
Okay.
they're like praise Superman, which they argued was equivalent to that it was propaganda for like the U.S. getting involved in foreign conflicts like that.
But the same way, I can't believe we're talking about U.S. foreign policy and Israel and shit in this, but the same way that the U.S. already is involved in foreign policy in funding these like genocidal, fascistic like countries, also in the movie, the U.S. was already involved in funding these like countries and stuff that were promoting it. So it's like, you know, you want to say white savior, but it's like, okay, we're already involved. So like, let's pull ourselves back some.
I don't know. I haven't seen the movie.
Now, not necessarily should the U.S. go and kill Benjamin Netanyahu.
Well,
yeah, I'll say that maybe that's not the United States' place. I would understand the morals of it. I would by and far understand the morals of it. But I could understand how that might be seen as an overreach by the United States.
Is that what happens in the movie?
They do
Does
kill
Superman kill
Superman
Netanyahu?
doesn't kill Netanyahu, but one of the other superheroes does, who is like filling in for Superman, because Superman's too busy fighting
Substitute
Jeff
Superman
Bezos.
Kills Netanyahu.
Yeah, but it's Isabella Merced, or whatever her last name is, who's very beautiful. So it's kind of sick.
So it's like hot woman kills dictator.
Yes.
Hot.
And it's great. But I will say, you are someone who... It's very interesting talking about things like theater and film with you, because you have such a split interest in both of them, if that makes sense. Like, there's certainly a lot of overlaps between theater and film. You know,
yes, definitely.
Directing, acting, singing, maybe, if it's a musical film.
Shout out Wicked.
Shout out Wicked. But I think, I don't know. You are someone who I think, at least because we are closer and we talk about things more, it's been interesting to watch you in your continued back and forth between, like, this is my hard segue into like this other stuff.
Of course,
in case
of
it
course.
wasn't
We
clear.
can stop talking about Superman.
But like, into like you, like every 6 months, it feels like you go back and forth. And I'm not saying this as some criticism at all. I think it's a reflection of how passionate you are about the arts and about these different things, and that's just where your interests lie. But I don't know. What do you think about all that? What do you think about how you... It's not necessarily a double life. That's a very extreme way of putting it. But, like, you're trying to find this balance in what you want to do for a profession.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately the goal is to do... Oh, my God, there's an ant on me.
Yeah,
the goal,
there's a few.
is to work in both, and I think that is something that a lot of people do, a lot more than people like to give credit to. Like, I feel like there's a lot of pressure to kind of pick your one medium or your one role and kind of spend all of your time perfecting that. But I feel like working in one makes you better at the other and vice versa. Like, there would be no television without theater first. And, like, the two are incredibly connected. And I think...
But I feel like... I get that. What's interesting, though, is I think the normal kind of cross-artistic boundary that people cross, the cross boundary that they cross,
right,
is for acting. Like,
sure.
There's, of course, many examples of theater actors who go into film, or film actors who go into theater, and vice versa, and whatever. But you are more so trying to do directing still, right?
Yeah.
And so, is there not what you feel like I don't know, I would think there would be a large difference in the style for each of them. Is that not the case?
I think... Yes, they're very different in form, but I think there's a lot more similarity than people like to recognize. And I would not be the first person who's done this. Like, there are a lot of production and directing figures who have done both. It's not as recognized, I think, because also those people a lot of times just aren't in the public eye as much as an actor is. Because I think as a director, if you do your job well, no one comes out of it thinking about you. They think about the performances.
That's true.
And I think that's what it is. At the end of the day, like, form is different, and with film there's a lot of other considerations in terms of, you know, framing and composition, and with theater there's a lot more to think about usually with, like, music and costuming and, you know, all of these different elements that are made in different ways. But at the end of the day, being able to work with actors and understanding story beats and emphasis and theme and whatever, like, it's the same basic impulses that you have to do both, I think.
That makes sense. So, you are 19.
Yes.
What, like 6 months away from 20?
Yeah, 19 and a half.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
You've directed how many things total?
Oh.
Guesstimate.
How many things? Like,
okay, let's say professional things. Middle school TV production shit doesn't count.
Starting when? Starting after graduating high school?
What were you directing in high school?
I directed shows in high school.
Okay, like what? And what shows?
I directed The Play That Goes Wrong. I directed Almost Maine for competition. I directed individual scenes for competition. I worked, I guess it was the summer after high school, I worked at the Hippodrome with their, like, education program, directed there.
Play That Goes Wrong, was that with, who was that, like?
That was at my high school.
Right.
It was our last show as seniors. We were only supposed to do one show that year, and I basically irritated my drama teachers to the point of letting us do a second show because we all wanted to. There's a mosquito. We all really wanted to do this show, and I had directed in the fall our one act for competition and wanted to work on something longer, and we all really loved this script and whatever. And we had a new drama teacher coming in to take over the program the year after I left. So my senior year was kind of the transition where we had two people helping run the theater department because my first teacher was stepping down and the new one was, like, shadowing. And so with him, the two of us kind of, like, co-directed the show, and he mentored me through a lot of that year, kind of learning how to do that. So I would say that was the first, like, large scale project that I kind of took on a directing role, and then from there it's been constantly something.
What was that like as the first project that you did the directing?
Oh my god, that entire show, like, should not have been possible. It was incredibly intense and chaotic and stressful and, like, a fever dream because it was in the midst of IB senior exam season.
Sure.
And also right before graduation. So there were all of these other events happening for the end of the school year.
Oh, yeah.
So our auditorium was booked out. And so we had to build, for reference, the play that goes wrong has a 2-story set that's supposed to collapse on stage. And our theater department had no money and had never tried to build a real set like that in the time that I had been there, really. Nothing that complicated or realistic, for sure. So we had, I want to say, like 2 weeks in the space that we were going to be performing to build the entire set. And the entire show was put together in like a month or 2. So it was very fast and furious, very chaotic, a lot of interpersonal conflict between the cast. Like, everyone had so much going on outside of their lives, especially the seniors. We were all focused on college acceptances and exams and moving out of our parents' houses at the end of the school year.
Sure.
But the show, I think, was really... I still have people, like, come up to me in town and talk about it and how much fun it was.
Wow. For the set stuff, you being director, how much of that was on you? I guess, how much of that was on you and how much of that was supposed to be on you as director?
So, yeah, in my experience so far, I think that's one of the biggest differences between theater and film is, like, in live theater, if you are directing, you kind of have your hands in every element of the production to some extent. You have, well, in theory, you have set designers, lighting designers, costume designers, stage managers that are all doing their own thing, but I think a theatrical director is a lot more hands-on with all of those production elements. So, like, for that show, because I had a co-director, he focused more on the technical elements, and I focused mostly on performance and working with actors. So there was a lot of days where he would lead the set build and I would be rehearsing scenes. But that's not always the case. And until you get to the professional level where everyone is really good at their specialized role, basically I was doing a little bit of everyone's jobs at that point in time.
How frequently does that happen for you?
A lot. That happens a lot. I think that is part of learning how to be a creative, though, and a collaborator, is finding the balance of when to take the lead and pick up the slack, and when to kind of let someone do their job or not do their job.
I guess that is like the kind of core thing of directing, is figuring out the people management of it.
It is. It's a lot of people skills. It's a lot of knowing when and how to delegate. And I think the biggest part of that, like one of my professors in my directing class this past school year said, like, 95% of a show's success is how you cast it. And I think the same thing is true when you're putting together a team. Like, if you have a production team, you have designers and a cast and crew that you can really trust creatively and interpersonally, it makes your job so much easier.
It's New York, baby.
NYC, Big Apple, shout out Manhattan, shout out Queens, shout out Brooklyn, shout out the Bronx, shout out Long Island.
I don't know how much detail you want to go into it, so I'm not going to force you to say anything. And this is all, you can say however much or however little you want. But I'll say that I know you have had difficulties with working on productions and things where you perhaps put too much trust into people that then very much didn't pan out. And so I guess, how has that been, really?
Don't date your coworkers. Don't hook up with your coworkers. Don't put your romantic partners on the teams for projects that you are working on and that you care about. And that is really what I have to say on the matter. That's really important advice for everyone out there. Don't do it. But in a real and serious sense, I do think, especially at the college level, having to find the balance of interpersonal relationships and professional relationships can be really difficult. like 9 times out of 10, the people you're working with, the teams you're working on are your friends, and that's how you got there. Either you met because of this common interest and then bonded over it, or you became friends and then, you know, decided to work together, which has also been really successful for me. Like, to be fair, 9 projects out of 10 that I have worked on with close friends and whatever have gone really well, because there's a certain level of knowing each other's styles and sensibilities and how they work. But it can get challenging, and for me, I feel like a big theme so far in young adulthood has been finding the balance of the personal and the professional and trying to keep those two things very separate. You know, you can really respect someone as a person and even as a creative and not work well with them, or vice versa.
I think, yeah, I think...
Was that the question? What was the question? Sorry.
I mean, it was the question was, how has that been figuring out how to place trust in people and, like, issues where it's not. I think you are touching on something good, though, because it's like, I think that's a lot of showbiz. That's a lot of, like, the creative stuff, is you want to work with people who you gel with. That's why, like, the examples of, like, what is it, like the 2 guys from Mythbusters, like, apparently hate each other, but it's like, that's like such a famous, well-known factoid, because it's like, oh my god, this is the one instance where, like, it doesn't really clash, or there is a clash in creative differences. I guess that's why you always hear about, like, blah 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 left because of creative differences. Yeah. And it's like, well, sometimes the vibe just isn't right.
It's like the same as having a roommate, I feel like. Like, especially...
But they tell you to not be friends, or to not become
room
roommates.
With your friends.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing, a lot of people will say the same thing of, like, don't work with your friends, because it can be difficult, like, especially when it comes to, you know, student films and, like, projects like that where you're not doing it because it's a job, you're doing it because you want to. Everyone cares so much about what they do and wants it to be as best as it can be, and then regardless of how close you are with someone, if you don't feel like they're valuing it the same amount, or they're putting in the same amount of effort as you do, it's really easy for that to cause tension in the personal relationship as well, because, you know, you start to go down this train of thought of, like, oh, well, you don't even care about this project, which means, but I care about this project, and if you don't care about this, then that means you don't care about me, which is, like, I think a line of thinking that a lot of people in these creative fields at this age struggle with, and something that I've had to try and unlearn, I think.
Yeah.
Because we're all still learning how to do this. At the end of the day, we aren't professionals yet for a reason. And as much as college students like to cosplay that we're a Hollywood production company, we are not. The stakes are not as high as they feel. And so I think having to give grace even when collaborating doesn't go the way you want it to is pretty important at this stage.
I don't know. I just feel like I have this little demon inside of me that, like, whenever I'm working on a collaborative thing with someone and it feels like they're just not putting in what I feel like is the bare minimum, it just drives me fucking nuts. It's like, what are you doing? This isn't good, or this isn't as good as it could be. So, like, in a sense, why are we wasting our time on it if you're not willing to put your effort in?
Right. Yeah, I think that mentality definitely resonates with me. I think also, though, the flip side of that is when you work with people that you know and you do trust, even when things don't go as well as you want them to, or you feel like they're not putting in what you know they're capable of, it also sometimes makes it easier because, like, if you know someone that well personally, like, you know that there's other things going on in their life, and
True.
like I had a situation like this actually this past year where I was working on a short film that I, like, wrote and directed, and one of my really close friends was on the team and ended up having to step down from the project kind of suddenly, like midway through production. And, you know, it would have been, the first instinct is to be really, really frustrated with this person because, you know, now, like, we're all put in a tight spot of having to kind of adjust last minute and throw new people into positions they weren't trained for and don't know the project as well, you know, and it's easy to feel personally offended by that because this is something that I care so much about, and you're walking away from it, which means, like it feels like a personal. It feels
yeah.
like disrespectful on a personal level. But then kind of after that initial frustration, it's like, at the end of the day, I still care for this person outside of the project that we're working on, and they're not doing this despite me. They're doing it because of a million other things that are going on in their life, and being able to have that understanding and the recognition that we should be enjoying what we do at this point. And even if it hadn't been for some kind of, emergency or other like huge responsibility that this person had, if it was just that they weren't able to connect with it, like, yes, you have to honor your commitments, but also there's a certain level to that of, I want this person to be happy and to be focused on what they need to be focused on in their life, even if that's coming at the expense of a couple of my shooting days. But there's also a balance there, because it gets to a point.
Yeah.
It can get to a point.
I don't know. I feel like, I guess that's something I haven't had to walk the fine line of figuring out yet.
It's a very fine line, especially when it's people that you're going to be around a lot or want to work with again. That's been a really weird experience for me. Like, having a project completely flop and then still feeling like I want to work with this team again, even though we kind of were terrible or the end result was not what I wanted it to be. I feel like there's still like room to grow, and like being able to spot the difference between circumstances that weren't as ideal as they should have been, or like, everyone's still learning how to do things, versus basically when's the line of, you're always going to run into problems, but at what point do those problems become, I don't want to work with this person again, versus
that's true,
I want to, and I want us to figure out a better way to do things.
When have you I'm trying to remember, when have you had situations where projects you've been on have flopped?
Or just like feeling like they didn't meet the standards that we
fair.
wanted them to. Like, flopped is a very general and subjective term, I guess. I have lots of things that are still in the lab right now, so still time.
I mean, I think, yeah, I understand the almost hyperbole, though, of the, like, you get so connected to a project you're on,
right,
that when it's not quite up to your specifications, then it just is.
It feels like it sucks, and you suck, and you should quit.
Yeah.
Quit. But you shouldn't do that.
Because I think something so, at least from my perspective, something so built into the creative process is putting like yourself in your work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is you. The lighting style is you. There's some, I forget the film bro term for it. There's some like maybe like
mise en scène.
No, not mise
Theme.
en scène.
Allegory.
The scoring.
Composition.
It was like
the scoring.
I think it's like the Social Action Network, maybe. I don't know, some shit like that. But it's like this idea of how, there's one idea about like film and other arts as well, where it's like, okay, this is like solely the work of the director. You watch a movie, this is
auteurism.
Yes, that's auteurism. The flip side of that is the social whatever, which is like,
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the word.
Yeah,
but I know what you're talking about.
It's like this. It's this whole thing made up of a web, and that every single individual person plays, maybe not an equal, but like a huge part in this production.
Sure.
And it would fundamentally be different without them. And I think it's like, despite the fact that there are so many people, and it almost dilutes the water pool of like the creative authorship and identity in it, it still feels like so much of that is connected to the individual.
Right.
That's why you see, like, at least recently, I've seen so many people talk about like cinematography with regards to like, like the Batman or like Dune or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these other films where it's like these aspects have become increasingly more present, and it's like you can feel a lot more of the connection of and someone with it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have a point to go with there, but like.
But yeah, I mean, it's a very collaborative thing. Like, at the end of the day, it's easy to feel as a director, like all of the creative responsibilities on you, because ultimately it feels like you're the last line of defense.
You're the
right?
person holding
You're the one
it all.
greenlighting all the decisions. So well, at this level you are. In the real world, it's the executive producers. Shout out, capitalism.
Right.
But it's easy to feel like, yeah, if something isn't successful, like it's my individual fault as a director because I didn't catch it or, whatever. But at the end of the day, it is all a collaborative effort, and that responsibility doesn't ever just fall on one person, even though sometimes it feels like it does.
And so instead you should blame the other people.
Exactly.
That it's all their
exactly.
fault.
It's all their fault.
Why are you all rigid
I
all of a
have to
sudden?
pee.
Yeah?
So I'm going to do that.
Okay.
But I'll be back.
Okay. Are you going to use the museum?
Yes.
again?
I'm going to go use the free public restroom in Manhattan at the Seaport Museum.
Okay. She's running off. I wonder if the museum's even still open. It's at 8 o'clock on a Saturday.
I don't remember which mic was mine.
I had thought up... Oh, I remember the questions I was going to ask you.
But-
Okay. So, for as long as I've known you, you've been into acting kind of video theater stuff. Give me a full timeline of that. Like, when did you first get into it?
I've been I guess acting pretty much my whole life in some capacity. Like, literally as long as I can remember. I started going to theater camp in the summers and
Look at that dog.
oh my god, that dog is so cute.
That dog is very cute.
It's a really cute dog. Oh my god, he looks like a stuffed animal.
Damn, he still got his nuts.
What?
He has his nuts.
Oh.
They didn't neuter him.
Wait, yeah, wow, wait. I haven't seen a...
A pair of dog testicles in a while.
No, yeah, that was... Would not voluntarily see that again. The dog was cute, though.
Okay, so...
Anyways, so, yeah, I've been going, I went to theater camps in the summers and stuff forever and thought it was fun. But I feel like the moment that I saw it is when I was, bit with the bug to do this. It was the first time I ever came to New York. It was January. It was, for my 9th birthday and Christmas. My aunt and uncle brought me up here, and they took me to see Wicked. And it was my first Broadway show. And from that moment on, I became the most insufferable person my friends and family had ever met.
I'm honestly surprised it's that late in your life.
I mean, it definitely, the seed had already been planted. I have somewhere saved, scripts. Me and my best friend in probably 2nd grade were writing little scripts and forcing my mom to watch us act them out.
Mm-hmm.
I had my little kitty camera that I was always carrying with me everywhere.
Sure.
So it's always been there, but that was the moment that I was like, this is what I want my life to be like, I think.
Fair enough. So watching Wicked in what grade was that?
Would have been... It must have been probably 4th grade, because then in 5th grade I did my first show. I was in Annie Jr.
Uh-huh.
I was Tessie, one of the orphans. And my first line ever in theater was, oh my goodness. And I said that 6 times in the show. And I loved it. The show was really, really bad. But it was really so much fun. And then I was basically always in at least one show all through middle school. That was all I did. I always had a script in my hand at school.
I'm trying to remember, where did you do shows in middle school?
I did shows at, this is doxing myself, but at the Star Center Children's Theater.
Okay.
At a children's theater in town that I was at through middle school, and then I think I stopped freshman year of high school. Yeah, it was the end of my 8th grade year, the last show I did. And it was a starting off point. Like, I learned a lot being there. I got to play a lot of characters that no one else would have ever cast me as. And
I'm trying to remember, what shows did you do as part of that?
so many. Pretty much all junior versions. Notably, Seussical Jr. I was Gertrude McFuzz. I was LeFou in Beauty and the Beast. I was... Hopefully this doesn't get me canceled. I was Mushu in Mulan Jr.
You were Mushu?
I was the dragon.
Yo.
Who has a really fire song in the stage musical, actually. It's called... I don't remember what the song is called, but it's really good. I think there's a cut scene from the Disney movie where they sing part of it, but that was fun. I had like 13 or 14 or 15 shows with them, something like that. A chorus line. The Lion King. All kinds of stuff, really. I was the lighting designer for To Kill a Mockingbird when I was probably 11, which they probably shouldn't have let me operate that board at that young age. There was a thunderstorm in the show that I literally had a giant storm flashlight that I would turn on and off to be the lightning.
Wow.
Manually from the light booth.
Right.
Yeah, it was fun stuff.
So you did that through middle school?
I did Hairspray. Yeah.
Through middle school?
Through middle school.
All those.
And then when I got to high school, I started doing shows with my school's drama department.
Don't forget that you did a show with the middle school drama department in the 8th grade, the drama department that you created.
Oh, yes. In I guess that was my directorial debut in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
In 7th grade, our middle school.
7th grade? I thought it was 8th.
It was 7th grade.
Really?
Yes, because then...
The same year you came up with that America song?
Yes.
Wow.
That was for a class project. It still gets stuck in my head from time to time. Thank God the GarageBand file has been erased from this earth. But I do still have the Prezi.
Okay.
Shout out Mr. Matthews. Shout out Research and Critical Thinking 2. Shout out the American Song Project.
Right.
But yeah, in our 7th grade year, our school had no drama club, and I thought that we should have one. So I pitched it to the vice principal, who did not want to see my entire presentation and binder that I made, and immediately approved it without looking at any of them. Shout out Mr. Scott.
Oh, it was Mr.
Who was
Scott
the vice principal at the point?
Oh,
at that point, or it might have been it might have been Strappy that I actually pitched it to. One of our admin.
Okay.
And they did not care and immediately told me I could, as long as I had a teacher sponsor. Mm-hmm. But we had no money.
Who'd you get for the sponsor?
Miss Gold did it. She sat in the corner and collected an overtime paycheck, I think.
Oh.
She did not do anything. I also, to her credit, did not want her to do anything and really didn't let her help when she tried to.
Right.
I was a very bossy child. Maybe still am a little. But I ran this drama club as an 11-ish year old.
Yeah, I guess.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But we had no money to do a real show. So I wrote one and directed it. 2 acts. It was like 35 or 40 pages. I found the script recently, actually, and did a staged reading of it with my roommates in our living room at 1 a.m.
Does it hold up?
It's pretty good.
Really?
No. It's honestly, for having been written by a middle schooler, it's really not so bad. There's a few moments in there that I think still hold up. I mean, the dialogue is pretty corny, but it was 2017 and we were in middle school, so the humor's a little dated. But honestly, it's not that bad. I think like it was low-key a ripoff of Enchanted a little bit, but I came up with it on my own. I wasn't plagiarizing the movie on purpose.
Wait, is that the movie where the
Yeah, so
cartoon girl comes to real life New York City?
She's like a cartoon storybook princess, and then she falls down a well and ends up in New York.
And
then it becomes live action.
Right.
That movie's really good. But then in my play, which was not based off that movie at all, a girl who lives in New York falls into a storybook and then ends up getting like wrapped up in this whole love triangle with the prince and the princess in the story.
That's clever. It's an inversion of the
It is
thing.
an inversion of the trope.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, the script, and then it becomes a whodunit, because at the end of Act 1, the main girl bites into a poison pear and, like, falls asleep.
Egad.
And so then the second act is a whodunit, as the prince, who has now fallen in love with her, tries to figure out who poisoned her. Come to find out, it was the princess, who was worried about the main character messing up their engagement, even though they weren't really even in love. But she was like, you're not going to steal my man, and then puts her in a coma. And then they all fight it out at the end. And, I think that there's a lot of dramatic potential there that would have been better realized if I wasn't trying to write Act 2 as we were rehearsing Act 1.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't have helped.
There's a definite dip in quality there and length. Act 2 is really short. But, everyone starts somewhere, and I think it was a pretty solid start, and I look upon that drama club with fondness. I also, wrote the show, directed the show, and ended up having to be in it because all 3 of our leads dropped out, and so I had to replace one of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was a pretty telling first show, and then from there, in high school, I did shows mostly with my school's theater department. We had I am biased, but I think the best drama department in our hometown.
I have no horse in this race.
But I did a bunch of shows with them, mostly acted in them, and then senior year started directing as well.
And so since then in college, you've directed a handful of plays.
Yep.
With
assistant directed a couple.
Other like local groups and stuff.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
The answer to that question is yes.
And then you've gotten into film directing, like more proper film directing compared to what we did previously.
Yeah, I think it was something that I kind of... Is that a rat in the sidewalk? It's standing very still. Do you see that? Or a bird, or is it a leaf?
I think I have no clue.
I really want to know. Can you hold this?
Yeah. She's going up to it, very confidently walking towards. It's a leaf. Yeah.
Can confirm it is a leaf.
Just a leaf.
So
films.
What was the question? Yeah, because we met doing TV production together in middle school, and then in high school I kind of didn't do as much film stuff. I did a lot of like short film video projects for classes, but not a lot outside of that. And then in college, I'm a media production major, which is basically film at the school that I'm at, and ended up as one of the founder board member
of Red Crow.
Right, of a student production company. Shout out Red Crow's Productions. And we've worked on close to a dozen short films at this point now.
Wow.
I haven't been on every single one, but like as a group. And wrote and directed my first short film with them this past school year.
Have you guys finished recording that yet?
Yeah. It's in the editing process right now, which has been on a little bit of a hiatus for summer.
Uh-huh.
But final cut dropping hopefully before the start of fall semester. And then we'll be doing the whole festival circuit before it's public. We'll see. It's really long, so...
Really? How long?
Like the first cut was 28 minutes, I think, which is too long for a lot of short film contests. But we're going to try and get it under the 25-minute mark, but we'll see.
You say long, I think 2 hours.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. You're working on a different scale than me.
Sure.
For a short film, that's long.
Definitely. Okay.
Yeah.
How has that been? So you've been, how long again since you started Red Crow?
We started, our first shoot all together was in November of 2023.
Okay.
It is now July. So it's been about a year and a half of us all working together.
And so you were one of the founding members.
Yes, there's 7 of us.
7 of you. What's the structure like?
It's in terms of like as an organization.
I guess, but like what's it like working there? How is the process there? Like?
It's very much, I mean, it's like we're all kind of learning how to do this together.
Mm-hmm.
And we're fortunate enough that I think all of us kind of came in with different strengths.
Is everyone else a student?
Yeah, we're all in the same major at school and in classes together, which is how actually we all met for the most part. Some of them knew each other a little bit before this, but for the most part, all of us met working on a short film with a student org at the school and decided that...
Dude, student orgs just suck. They just suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't hate too much because that's where we all got our start together, but we thought that we could do things better if we didn't have to go through the school.
It's just so much bureaucratic red tape.
There's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
I'm gonna check.
We
that
also
the cameras are good, but
sure.
Keep talking.
Felt some type of way about having to pay dues to be on set because that's already such a strenuous thing to do, not for money. Don't work for free. Always, you deserve to be compensated for your work. But having to pay to do work was a little crazy. Granted, I think dues were like $5, but on principle, none of us wanted to pay them.
You had to pay dues to the club? That's crazy.
I know. But it's because we needed money and we had no money because the school didn't fund us. So if you're not getting funding from the school, don't be a student org.
Yeah,
the only reason to be a student
up.
org is so that the school will give you money. And if they're not going to give you money, then don't do it.
There's no point.
There's no point. Just work independently. And that's what we did. And it's been going really well so far, I would say.
Yeah, what even would be the point of being a student org?
You know, that's a really great question. It's easier to reserve spaces on campus that way, I guess.
Yeah.
And sometimes the school would let us use some gear, I think.
It's probably broken half the time.
You don't even know, man. Yeah.
So overall, you've been at UF for 2 years now.
Yep.
How has the experience been overall? I think it's too heavy to say, do you think you made the right decision? Because I think, I truly, I'm going to guess that you would say that you would.
I do. I think I did make the right decision. That is very strong language, but I think so. I think I've met a lot of people who I can see myself continuing to work with for many, many years down the line. And I've learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've connected with professors who I want to stay in touch with, other students. And granted, it wasn't through classes itself. I do feel like I'm going to graduate with a pretty halfway decent portfolio. Mostly because of all this independent stuff, but...
Fair enough. And so we've talked before about like where you see for the future of things. Of course, now you're thinking more in the context of like New York.
Shout out New York.
Shout out New York.
Shout out Manhattan.
But
shout out Seaport.
Like, and you've said, currently you're leaning more towards theater for things, but of course you want to get some balance in there.
Right.
We've talked about this privately, but like, what do you think comes next afterwards? Or like, what's next? Where do you go from here? Besides staying the course for like the next 2 years while you graduate.
Yeah, I think for me right now, I'm at the point of feeling like my theater will always be my creative home base because that's what I grew up doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel a lot more confident in my abilities to do that. And I think in film, I still have a lot of work to do before I feel like I should be pursuing that professionally. And that's not to say that I won't, but I think for the next 2 years of school, my focus is really on getting as much experience as I can, building the portfolio, you know, getting that experience, kind of trying to learn how to do things that I feel like I'm bad at. And then after graduating, I think either grad school, an MFA in directing, is something that I've considered, or moving up here, trying to intern at a theater, assistant direct. That's a big thing, I think, still in the theatrical world, to work under a director that's really successful. Danya Tamor, if you need an assistant, please hire me. Or even if not directly in New York, somewhere in a big city. New York is preferable, but a casting agency or a theater or anything like that. Because I think a big part of it is networking, and as much as I'm really happy to be where I am for school, some of those connections can only be made in those big cities. Kind of trying to connect with more of those mentor types and see where it leads. Because I'll only be, I think, freshly 21 when I graduate.
Yeah, sure.
So get a job up here so I can afford to live here.
Right.
And assistant direct, probably.
Have you guys talked about what the future would be for Red Crow?
We have a little. It's kind of like it comes up every meeting, and then we all go, ugh, don't make me think that far ahead, and kind of table it.
Fair enough.
I think we all still have so much time to try and figure out what we want to do individually with our lives in and out of the film world, that it can be a little difficult to try and think about concretely,
sure,
you know, as an organization, what are we going to do? Where are we going to go? You know, because I think the realistic, after graduating, I think some of us will be based in Atlanta, some in LA, some in New York, you know, maybe some secret fourth place. But I think one thing that we've all agreed on is that we do still want to work together. And, you know, if one of us gets an opportunity and sees a chance to help the other out, you know, if you know of a job opening on the set that you're on, you know who to call first, kind of things. And I mean, depending on how the next couple of years go, potentially even, you know, trying to work on a feature together or kind of exist as a production house that's still going to have our name on projects that we write and direct. But it's too soon to know for sure. I would say. Sure.
How are you, would you say, like, because there's a lot to this. There's a lot to this industry of, like, uncertainty, of people management, of all these different factors that you have to balance, that there's no, you know, there's no clear course for, there's no clear way to figure it out, and it's also just certainly a gamble. How are you able to, figure out, I guess, how to keep your head on your shoulders and push through it all?
I think it's like a big thing for me. People love to talk about how unattainable it is to have a career in the arts, right? It's impossible. You're never going to have any job security. And like, well, yes, it's not the most stable thing in the world.
Yeah, dude, AI is going to fucking take over our jobs.
Claims of the unsustainability of the arts are vastly over-exaggerated, I think. I think if you are someone who is truly, truly dedicated to it, like, you can build a life in this industry. And I don't appreciate how many voices are out there trying to discourage that. Because, of course, the industry is going to die if no one is trying to keep it alive. And as much as, like, yes, AI exists and it is a threat, and sometimes it's used to create, like, art and culture are never going away. Those will always be a part of human life, and as long as people... Oh, there's a firefly behind us. As long as people exist, art will exist, which means there will be jobs related to it, is kind of how I look at it. And you know, people always say, like, if you can picture yourself doing anything else, do the other thing. But, like, every time someone says that, it irritates me. Just because, you know, people don't act like that about other professions. I don't know. If you could see yourself doing something besides finance.
Yeah,
like,
you should do it.
Finance is going to be so draining. The schedule is so rich. Like, you can find things to bitch about with every career. But I feel like, I think a big thing for me, too, is, you know, most people have an innate desire to make the world a better place. And I think that that's something that I feel as well. And for a long time growing up, I really struggled with that because it was like, you know, I want to be an actor or I want to be a writer, you know, and other people are out here saving lives. There are people doing surgery and being paramedics and firefighters and whatever. And I'm going to sit here and write songs. But that is still leaving a positive mark on the world, and I would rather help people in a way that I can actually do than try to be something that I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather deal with less stability doing something that I actually care about and am good at than something fucking boring that makes me a decent amount of money, but we're all going to be broke anyway. Shout out capitalism. So I might as well be broke and doing something cool than broke and doing something boring.
It's like if we have such a well of energy for these things we're passionate about, so why not spend it on something we're passionate about?
Exactly.
Because it's not going to translate into fucking accounting.
I think that's something too, like, I get tired of things really easily. Like, I just will be over it. Like, and I think theater is the one thing that I've never gotten tired of. Like, the arts, I will never get sick of it. Like, there is always, yes, there's a lot of AI bullshit and blockbuster bullshit and, you know, people who think they're being, like, deep and woke and wow, what's the word I'm looking for?
Pandering?
No, well, that too. But
surface level?
Think they're being profound when they're not. But for every fake deep, fake profound bullshit piece of art, there's 10 that are actually all of those things. And the rush of having a good idea or of taking in someone else's good idea in art, like, I will never get sick of that, I don't think.
Yeah?
Was that profound or was it fake profound? Let me know in the comments.
It was honest, and I think that's all you can really ask for. I think also, I don't know how much longer the camera batteries are going to last for.
True.
So I think we should end this here.
Okay.
But thanks so much for doing this and for being the guinea pig.
What was that? There's a bus.
Thanks so much for doing this and being the guinea pig.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Cheers. Okay.
Stop that recording.